In this video, we're going to be going over quadratics in Vertex form. So yesterday, I went ahead and gave you this foldable. So if you were absent yesterday, please go ahead and grab this from the substitute. The foldable for yesterday is already in the folder on the wall, so please make sure you grab that if you were absent as well. As a reminder, guys, there should be no AirPods in your ears. Your phones should be put away until you are completely done with the assignment. Also, please make sure you're utilizing time after you are done with your assignment to work on anything that you are missing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our notes. So quadratics in vertex form. So remember that the standard form of a quadratic function is written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. And vertex form is f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Remember here that HK stands for your vertex. And it's very important to remember that H is always opposite of how it appears in the problem. There are no tricks with K. If there are no questions, let's go ahead and open up our notes to number 1. So number 1 wants us to identify the vertex and rewrite the function in standard form. So guys, again, this is in the form of y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Now, remember that your vertex is in the form of h comma k. Again, h is always opposite. So when I come over to h, I see that I am subtracting 3. So you want to think the opposite. The actual value of h is a positive 3. And there are no tricks with k. K is just negative 9. So from here, again, we are going from vertex form to standard form. Our first step in going from vertex form to standard form should be to get rid of the parentheses. So here I notice that the parentheses, I have x minus 3 squared. So I'm going to come off to the side, and I know that x minus 3 squared is just x minus 3 times x minus 3. Now from here, we FOIL this out. X times x gives us x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Now I do my inners. Negative 3 times x, again, is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. From here, we combine like terms. So negative 3x minus 3x gives us negative 6x plus 9. So guys, I now know that x minus 3 squared is equivalent to x squared minus 6x plus 9. So anywhere I see x minus 3 squared, I am now going to substitute it in with x squared minus 6x plus 9. So this becomes 2 times x squared minus 6x plus 9. And I'm going to go ahead and drop down that minus 9. So now our next step is to distribute. 2 times x squared gives us 2x squared. 2 times negative 6x is negative 12x, and 2 times 9 is 18. Drop down the minus 9. Last step, combine like terms. 18 minus 9 gives us a positive 9. So here, our final answer is 2x squared minus 12x plus 9. So guys, when you're going from vertex form to standard form, you have 3 steps. FOIL, distribute, combine. To double check that you got your answer correct in the calculator, and this is also super beneficial if this type of question happens to be multiple choice. So what you can go ahead and do is open up a graphing window and type in 2 times x minus 3 close parentheses squared minus 9. So what I'm doing right here, guys, is I am entering in the original equation in vertex form. I'm going to go ahead and press on the down arrow. And then I'm going to plug in my equation now that it is in standard form. So 2x squared minus 12x plus 9. Now guys, I want you to pay attention to see what happens when I press enter. If you notice, this equation in standard form literally just overlaps the equation from whenever it was in vertex form. So that tells you that they are equivalent to each other. They are the same. So guys, if your answer is multiple choice and you're going from vertex form to standard form, that is also another way that you can get the correct answer. But I want to make sure that you're able to convert it by hand, just because we don't know which way that this question may be presented to you on the test. Okay, number 2, a quadratic graph passes through the point 2, 8 and has a vertex of -2, -4. Which of the following represents the function? So guys, here when I look at my equations, I notice that they are written in vertex form, which again is y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. So it's very important that you go through the problem and identify your point and identify your vertex. We want to go ahead and label our point as xy and our vertex as hk. Whenever I am given a point and a vertex, our first step is to plug in the vertex into the vertex form equation. So this is y equals a parentheses x minus the value of h, which is -2 squared, and then plus k, which in this case, I'm going to be subtracting 4. Now, guys, you should be noticing here that you end up with a double negative. This double negative, remember, becomes a positive. So, guys, literally just based off of you plugging in the vertex into your problem, you have already found your answer. Here, your answer happens to be A. But again, I don't know the way that this is going to be presented to you on a test. So I want to make sure that you understand how to find the value of A. So to find the value of A, I'm going to plug in the value of y, which is 8. This equals A times the value of x, which is 2, plus 2 squared minus 4. Again, guys, our goal is to find, again, the value of A. That is the missing piece. So our next step is going to be to simplify what's inside the parentheses. 2 plus 2 is 4 squared minus 4. Next step is to simplify the exponent. So 4 squared gives us 16. Next step, I'm going to add 4. I'm going to remove that constant. And 8 plus 4 gives us 12. Again, I'm solving for A. So my last step is to divide by 16 on both sides. When I plug in 12 divided by 16 into my calculator, you'll end up seeing that I end up with 3/4. So here, A equals 3/4. So this is what I end up plugging back into my original equation up top to get y equals 3/4 times x plus 2 squared minus 4. So let's, my answer again is A here. But again, I want to show you how to help, or how you should have your calculator help you with this type of problem. So let's say that you eliminated answer choices by plugging in your vertex, and let's say you came down to 2 answer choices. What you can then do is go into your graphs and plug in your answer choice. So obviously I know that A is my answer. So I'm going to go ahead and type in control divide, 3 on top, 4 on the bottom. I'm just going to plug in my answer in vertex form. So x plus 2, close parentheses, squared, minus 4. And I'm going to press enter. So guys, what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to check to see if this graph contains the correct vertex and contains the point. So I'm going to check the point on the, I'm going to check the vertex on the graph. Here, I notice that my vertex is my lowest point. So I notice that it is a minimum. So I'm going to press menu 6-2. Place that dash line on the left side, press enter, scroll over. I see that the vertex is correct. So then to check the point, I'm going to press Control T. And I see that I have the point 2, 8. So I see that it goes through the vertex and I see it has the correct point. So my answer is A. So this is just another way that you could end up with the same result without having to do everything algebraically. But again, it's good for you to know how to do this just because, again, we don't know the way it's going to be presented to you on the test. Okay, number 3. The graph of quadratic function f of x is shown below. Which equation best represents the graph? So guys, basically what we're going to go ahead and do here is graph and match. And what we want to match are the characteristics of this quadratic function. So in other words, I want to match it to the vertex, and I'm going to match it to my x-intercepts. So here my vertex is at 4, 1. And my x-intercepts, my first x-intercept is at 3, 0. And my second x-intercept is at 5, 0. So let's go ahead and look at each one of my answer choices and check to see which one has those characteristics. So Opening up a brand new graphing window, I'm going to go ahead and type in negative x squared plus 8x minus 15. Pressing enter, this is what it looks like. This honestly looks very close to what I'm looking for. But again, we want to check the characteristics. So looking at my vertex, I notice it's the highest point, therefore it is a maximum, menu 6-3, pressing enter, scrolling over. I notice that it does contain the correct vertex. So then I want to find my x-intercepts. Remember, an x-intercept, you can find that by pressing menu 6-1. You're finding a 0 in the calculator. I'm going to place that on the left side of my first vertex. I'm going to press enter, scroll over. I see that it is at 3, 0, so that's correct. And then again, menu 6-1 to find my second 0. So that's 5, 0. So here, A is my answer. It has all the same characteristics as my graph here. Okay, last question, number 4. Given a quadratic function with a vertex of 6, -4 that passes through the point 3, 5, write the equation in vertex and standard form. So here it wants us to do both. So here I have the equation y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So here's where I start off. Again, start off by identifying your vertex and identifying your point. You want to make sure you label them. Your vertex is labeled as hk, your point is labeled as xy. First thing I'm going to plug in is the vertex. So here we have y equals a times x minus the value of h, which is 6, squared, plus k, which is a -4. Again, here I'm solving for a. So to solve for a, I can now plug in my point. My point is 5, or my y value is 5, equals a times the value of x, which is 3, minus 6 squared minus 4. Next step, simplify what's inside the parentheses. We have 5 equals a times 3 minus 6, which is -3 squared minus 4. Guys, on our next step, when we simplify our exponent, please be very careful. Remember that anytime you are squaring a negative number, the negative number needs to be inside parentheses. Your exponent needs to be on the outside. I end up with 9. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this up top. We have 5 equals a times 9 minus 4. Next step, move the constant. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And I end up with 9 equals a times 9. Last step, divide by 9 on both sides. And 9 divided by 9 equals 1. So now that I know that a equals 1, I can now plug this into my equation in vertex form. So this is y equals. Guys, remember, if my value for a is 1, I don't necessarily need to put a 1 for a. I'm going to go ahead and place it here as like an imaginary one just so you know where the a value went. But here, this is just x minus 6 squared minus 4. So now I want to go from vertex form to standard form. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my problem up top. Going from vertex form to standard form, remember the first step is to FOIL. So x minus 6 times x minus 6. So x times x is x squared. X times -6 is -6x. -6 times x is -6x. And -6 times -6 is a positive 36. Combine like terms, -6x minus 6x is -12x. And I end up with x squared minus 12x plus 36. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug that in for x minus 6 squared. So I have y equals x squared minus 12x plus 36 minus 4. Last step, combine your constants. We end up with y equals x squared minus 12x plus 32. So, guys, again, to double check your work, you can always check everything in the calculator. So, with that being said, that is going to go ahead and complete your notes. Please go ahead and fill in or complete your assignment. And if you have any questions, please feel free to come see me for morning tutorials or come ask me tomorrow.